you always hear about a lot of talk in the media about how, there aren't that many female action heroes in movies, or, there aren't that many female-led movies at all. Just recently, the biggest, most recent female action-led movie was a superhero movie, Captain Marvel, which came out in March. Brie Larson, when she was doing her Avengers Endgame, press tour or whatever, with the other Avengers sitting next to her, said something like, "Oh, it's nice to see that a woman, can lead a successful movie, that's never been done before." I don't know if she said it's never been done before, but she talked as if it's never been done before. And that's how a lot of actresses and journalists talk about female action heroes, as if each time a new one comes out, they act like it's a big first or it's never happened before. The same thing happened with Wonder Woman. Oh yeah, female superhero movie can make a lot of money. But Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel were not the first, action movies to star women, nor will they be the last. So I'm always confused, often confused as to why journalists act like each time one happens, it's like it's a first for women. When we've had several women already starring, not as many as men throughout history, but it has happened often enough where people will remember, so that when Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel and movies like those, Alita Battle Angel, it's not like, we've never seen this before. A movie starring a woman, or an action movie starring a woman can make hundreds of millions of dollars, or $1 billion, or close to it. Or just to be successful, right? Or that women can't lead action movie franchises. Because we have two examples in recent history that people continue to overlook. The Underworld franchise starring Kate Beckinsale and the Resident Evil franchise starring Milla Jovovich. I mean, those movies each lasted, franchises lasted about 10 years each, I think. And they both starred women in the lead roles. They carried the franchises, Kate Beckinsale and Milla Jovovich, but nobody seems to remember that. When they talk about, oh, Captain Marvel's the first, woman to star in an action movie, or, one of the first. It's a pioneer. Gal Gadot was Wonder Woman. It's a pioneer. It's like, nope, they aren't pioneers. We've already tread this ground. What happened with Sigourney Weaver and Aliens, Uma Thurman as the bride in Kill Bill. Granted, those are rare examples, but it's not like, we've never had this before. And I think that Milla Jovovich and Kate Beckinsale are the first women ever, I can think of, to lead, entire franchises of action movies for a long time. It's not like they just started in one or two movies. Each one, Underworld lasted 5 movies, and Resident Evil lasted 6. And I think one of the Underworld movies, it didn't star Kate Beckinsale. It starred this other lady named Rona Mitra, I think. But still, Kate Beckinsale starred in 4 out of 5 Underworld movies, so I think she still counts. And even so, that other lady was still a woman. So there was a woman starring and leading that franchise throughout its entirety. And the Resident Evil, it was always Milla Jovovich. So I'm wondering, why do people overlook them when they talk about, female action, heroes in movies today? I think there are 2 main reasons. Number one is the Resident Evil and Underworld movies, they're relatively smaller scale movies, right? The budgets, I think the biggest budget an Underworld movie had was $70 million. And the biggest budget I think a Resident Evil movie had was like $65 million, which is like nothing today. Or not nothing, it's like mid-range. And those movies didn't make that much box office. I think the highest an Underworld or Resident Evil has made worldwide has been, maybe $200 million or less. Maybe in the threes. One of them might have reached the threes, but that was a rarity. So, a lot of people think of the Underworld and Resident Evil movies as kind of highbrow B movies, right? Not like Captain Marvel that made $1 billion, or Wonder Woman that made like $860 or $870 million or $850. Resident Evil and Underworld would have been lucky if they'd made anywhere close to that with their worldwide box office numbers. So I think that's a reason why, is like these movies are just, they're female-led action movie franchises that exist at a lower level financially than, a Captain Marvel or a Wonder Woman. But of course, it's not like they can't still impact women or men, or they aren't important. They are. It's just, fewer people have seen them, I guess. Number 2 is, and maybe this is even a bigger movie than number 1, is those movies get terrible reviews. A lot of people think that Underworld and Resident Evil movies are crap. I'm not saying that I agree with that, or you have to agree with that. I think those movies are fun and interesting in their own way. Granted, they're not going to win Oscars, but I enjoyed them well enough, and so did a lot of other people. I mean, they each lasted at least 5 movies each. 5 movies for Resident Evil, for Underworld, and 6 for Resident Evil. So they were successful enough to keep going. So, they were women who led franchises that had staying power, right? So far, Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman, they only have one movie each. They're going to get sequels, but, they're still far away from having 5 or 6, Captain Marvels or Wonder Womans, right? Alita Battle Angel has a lot of fan love from people, but that's still one. And we're not even sure if Alita Battle Angel is going to get number 2. But Resident Evil, Mila Jovovich was a woman who carried that franchise through 6 movies. And Underworld, Kate Beckinsale carried it through 5. So, I think that they deserve a bit more credit. But what do you think? Are there other reasons why people overlook these franchises in terms of female empowerment or female action representation in Hollywood? Or, are the 2 reasons I mentioned, that's exactly it? What do you think? Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.